this platform is called close option. And this is kind of like my playback platform, but it gives us a little bit more frequent opportunities, I guess you could say, because of how the platform is set up. And here, I can change the view of the candles. I'm looking at 30-second candles. I can change it to 1 minute. The cool thing about if I do that, or when I do that, is that they look almost identical to these candles. So that's kind of cool. And then right here I can determine how long I want my trades to last. So I'm using 30 seconds for this, but I can change it to 1 minute, 2 minutes, etc. And I'm using a contest balance, so this isn't my real balance, although I might switch to the real account since my represent not to. And this line just represents a touch point, which is when the market touches a point and then it reacts. So it touched it right here. And it reacted. Actually, let me do this real quick. Get rid of this guy. There we go. Yeah, so it's approaching that point again. There's a reaction. So I'm just paying attention to that. Take a look at the 30 seconds. And then in the very bottom, right here, every 30 seconds, so when it counts down to 0, right here, a new candle's going to start. Bam. And that's when I would be potentially looking into an opportunity if it made enough sense. So for this platform, I'm only going off of touch points. And then for this platform here, I'm more so looking for stability within one zone on one position. And so I'll start with the breaking down each zone. So just looking at it, we have 2, 3, 4, 5 zones. And then within each zone, you have from 5-7 to, or 9-7 to 9-5, that's 20 micropips. So in every zone, there's 20 micropips for this pair that we're trading. And in that 20 micropips, it is split in 2 positions. And each position has 10 micropips. So this is one position right here. And then the second position in this zone right here. And so the whole idea for this platform is to wait until the market enters a position, and then it kind of just kind of bounces around in that position. And while it does that, I'm looking for this or these numbers to move incrementally. And then one of the things that have to happen for this one, as they move incrementally, I need for the market, which is this, to confirm by moving one step further away from the strike. All those things have to come together on this platform based off of not position, but based off of movement. And so the environment that I'm looking at right now, in a 5-minute span, so let's take out a little rectangle. Look at the past 5 minutes. Okay, this is the end of one binary. So just, well, we don't even need to make a rectangle right now. But within this past 5 minutes, we've seen movement 1 and touching 2 zones, and looks like a minimum of 2 zones and 4 positions. So we have a pretty large range of movement. And right off the bat, I already know that it's going to take some time for us to see the market transition into the type of behavior that would allow for it to move within one zone, let alone one position. We're moving within a 5-minute span across 2 zones and across 4 positions. So the behavioral cycle that it's in doesn't really look like we will have anything worth looking into, for at least for the next few minutes. But that's what the observation is for. And that's another reason why one real reason why I feel like doing this is because I'm sleepy. But every Thursday I try to, at least once every other Thursday, minimum, I'll get on here and do an episode just to document my analysis, just in case something comes along for me to collect and build this account. Started this account, I think it was about a year ago, $100, and I'm slowly building it to a point where one trade is worth all of my bills. But I think what I'm going to do is pause once I've gotten this account up to where every trade is worth $1,000, and sit there for a bit, do a couple product demonstrations, aka trades, and then build from there. So in the event that we don't really have much going on this platform, we have this platform here to kind of play with. And since the market's behavioral cycle is more movement based and momentum based than this platform, closed option seems like the one that I'd rather be paying attention to. So I'm on a demo account. Let's see what it is. Some type of contest. This will allow me to trade more experimentally. But if I see some consistent behavior, then I'll switch over to my real account and build from there. But like I said, I'm not going to be on here long, so you know what I'm saying. Let's see what we can find here. Nothing really, no significant touch points on the bottom of this. The only thing that I can see happening is that it might come back and revisit this line here before committing back downward or breaking through back upward. But it's not a significant touch point. It's touched here and here, but this one was weak. So just keeping an eye on what it does when it hits this spot to see if there's any reaction. spot. See if this is an actual real touch point. Okay. Watching this here. And we're going to go with the cell. Nope. Doesn't look like it's going to work out for us. Unless this touch point is strong to the cell, but it doesn't look like we made a good call on that one. So this is basically a demo account. But even if it's a demo account, it doesn't really matter. The call is incorrect. Guess we're getting the swing of things on this one. We would never make a trade like that on this platform because it's not in any particular position. There's no consistent one zone with one position movement. So this one, we have a totally different approach than this one. And then on top of that, this is not a touch point. So I can delete this. Because it'll set a false. No? No? Okay, let's keep on looking. This actually kind of looks a little bit like it could be a touch point. Wait until it touches this line, and we do the same thing. Not sure if it's a touch point. We'll win the trade, but I'm not sure if this is an actual touch point. So I'm going to remove it. Oops. Keep that one there. Oh man. It's switched to, instead of it being 30 seconds like I had originally placed it, it's got somehow switched. I mean, it's cool, I want some money, but it's switched. So I switched it back to 30 seconds because that's what I, basically being able to anticipate what the next candle is going to do. And that anticipation is based off of how it responds to touch points. So we've got to be skilled and basically we have to be accurate with identifying where the touch points are. And there aren't really strong touch points right now. You could argue that this line is a touch point. Let's see something real quick. So yeah, like I said, you could argue that this is a touch point here. But there's not a lot of touches. There's only just one. Yeah, so this is just an observation that it's just, I mean, this type of market right here is not really favorable for either one, because I do see that the market is kind of tightening up a little bit, which makes this platform look better to me. When the movement tightens up, this one's better. But it's not an incremental movement. And what I mean by incremental is where it's like a lockstep movement. The candles aren't moving lockstep. They have these bursts of energy. And so bursts of energy or bursts of movement, they're not good for this platform, for the demonstrations that I'm collecting for my income building product. So I wouldn't really mess with anything over here until that bursty behavior is gone away with. And then going to this platform, bursty behavior isn't really good for this unless the bursty behavior is momentous or continuous. And I don't see continuous movement on here either. It'll burst and then it'll lock, and then it'll burst in some other direction and then it'll lock. That's what I'm seeing so far in the past about 20 minutes, is that the behavior, even though I've taken some entries, again, this account means nothing. So I have the freedom to kind of test and experiment around a little bit. But that type of behavior is not good for either one of these platforms. So it just makes me want to go to bed even faster. Well, we got like 10 minutes, so I'm really kind of interested to see how this market behaves when it touches around this area. Let me just draw once more like that, like between those two spots in that zone. How does it respond? How does it react? We switch it around and just take a look here. So we're 8 micropips, 7. I like how this is moving tightly right now, but just like I mentioned earlier, I'm curious to see if that bursty behavior shows up. Otherwise, I mean, it's interesting. Okay, this suggests that we're going to see some movement here. See how it went to the mid-80s to the 90s. But what I would be waiting on is for this to confirm by moving one step up, but it hasn't done that. The pricing has moved up. Oh, now it's suddenly moving back down. And there you go. So the pricing and the indicative or the actual market, they're not all the way in sync yet. And it gives us these little clues by certain things not happening when they should, in order to validate the quality of the product. So in this case, the market let me know that even though the pricing looks good, the behavior isn't validating the pricing. So I leave it alone. And then same thing over here. We see that they're the same market. This is the euro. Oh, yeah, So the type of behavior that we're seeing, they're expressed on both platforms. They're the same, and that behavior is not conducive to positioning style trades or reaction slash movement slash momentum style trades. Burst, lock, or burst, stall, burst, stall. That's what I've been seeing. And not what I'm interested in, not what I want. Let me see if I can pull up an example of something that you would want to see. Let's take a look at this one here. So this is an example of what we want to see on this platform. Give it a second to load. Yeah, see, there's no strong touch points either. All right, let's take a look at our example. Take a look at this price, how it moves, and then take a look at this market. Be indicative. So we're seeing 33, 32, 19, 37, 31, 36, 30. Some consistency in the pricing, 34, 35, 32. Some consistency and tightness in that range of pricing. And then we see the indicative here in a second. We're going to see the indicative validate that pricing by moving a step away. Bam. While we move a step away, we still have pricing, and it's getting incrementally lower, and then we have an entry. This is a perfect example of an income building product. So for anybody that comes on here and watches, this is what you want to see. This is what I wait for. And these come few and far between, so it's not, these don't come every single day. It's not every day that I'm watching. For the past year, I've averaged just about one a month. Now, I don't observe a lot. I try to make sure that I get on here at least once a week, but I passively observe. And when I passively observe and notice something like this, I'll get close to the computer and actually start recording. But this is the example that you want to go by when it comes to income building products. And we're nowhere close to that right now. We saw on this platform, I don't know if that example screen was up, so I don't know if you saw, but more bursting, no momentum. Big movements, no momentum. I'm going to watch one more binary and then I'm going to bed. The only thing that would keep me up is a sudden shift in behavior, and the shift would have to be in favor of an income building product. All right. Okay, so I'll watch this last binary and call it a night. Okay, I'm looking at the big right now. What looks attractive right now is the buy, but because of the big movements that we've been seeing and the fact that the movement of the market has gone across zone lines, that just makes it not interesting. Now the pricing being where it's at, with the market being where it's at, tells me that the market and the pricing are not in sync. The pricing should not be here. Okay, now it's shifting with the market. So yeah, they're not in line with each other. They're not walking together, and it's very apparent on this platform. If you're looking at basically these prices here and where this is, it's like this is not even leading this. It's just kind of doing its own thing, and then the indicative will try and catch up. So I think I've had enough. I think I've had enough of this. I guess that's another good thing is that you don't have to sit here for hours. I mean, I could. The market could like change its behavioral cycle, but I am sleepy and I don't feel like waiting. So did 30 minutes. I normally try to do an hour, but I'm unless y'all want me to stay on. Matter of fact, yeah, put something in the chat if you want me to do a couple more minutes. Otherwise, I'm getting off this shit. I'm going to bed. We see exactly what's happening in the market, and nothing as it relates to a trade is developing. Maybe this could be doing something. Maybe. Let's see. But it's approaching the zone where there's a lot of reaction, which is between here and here. There's a lot of reaction, so I can't depend on any momentum. If I were to do anything, I'd probably just go on a buy. But again, there's no consistency. We have big movements, no momentum, and bursty behavior. So on that note, I'm going to go ahead and call it a night. I got an early day tomorrow. I don't think we're going to see anything tonight. Till next time.